About the importance of entity resolution for organizations. I think a lot of it starts out with the fact that there is so much demand to be using data and having data-driven decision processes. You need to have your data that's usable. You need to be concerned about provenance and licensing and quality, data quality, all these, because if you don't, there are large problems downstream. And so entity resolution, we look at this as taking two or more structured data sets and being able to merge them and understand where are the entities that have a footprint that are common across different data sets, but then also what are the relationships amongst them. At the core of it, there are going to be nodes and edges and properties as we would see in a graph. And one of the things we'd found is that wherever there are entity resolution practices, generally they're adjacent to graph practices. You have data records, your source data, that's evidence. But then on top of that, you have this overlay of here are some entities and here are the connections they have to the supporting evidence. And you have an idea of like the strength or probability of the connection, but also why. I mean, is it because there's a matching address, or is it because they seem to be in the same organization, or some qualitative assessment. But then there's also links out to possibly related entities. If you're investigating a case, you probably would want to check these as well. By running entity resolution, the artifacts that you get out of it are actually graph elements. What are the downsides? What are the risks of an organization either skipping over doing entity resolution or doing it poorly? The reality is, if you're not going through this step of doing entity resolution or you perform it poorly, so things that should be connected will not be connected. People who have an obvious association are just separate. And when you try to go to apply graph algorithms like centrality analysis, if you don't have those connections made in the data beforehand, the algorithms perform poorly. We find that really the biggest factor for getting in and doing really good work with entity resolution is understanding that kind of exploratory step with your data and finding out where are there features that are consistent, where are there anomalies in the graph, like maybe you're looking at a bunch of shell corporations and there's one owner repeated thousands of times. Is somebody actually doing that? Or is it because there's bearer shares and so there's an anonymous owner, paid to the bearer of? Finding artifacts like that in your data are crucial for understanding the data quality and where the problems are, but they're also crucial for what we call mapping. Being able to put this kind of overlay on top of the different features to guide the entity resolution. And really the power of how Linkurious is handling this integration is to provide a no-code solution on top of that. I mean, that's the hardest part of doing entity resolution from our perspective, and that's what Linkurious is making the simplest.